I'm Paul Lufs, born in Germany. I've been moving to Canada, and I got married in Honduras, and I'm back in Canada. For a long time, I did not even know there is an MMI. I found out through an article in Reader's Digest that there is such an organization. And then my optometrist, who was on one of these missions, phoned me and told about that. So since I'm interested in medicine, and I was a first aider for many years and worked in the Red Cross, I wanted to do that. So then I applied in 1983. This is my 110th mission in 10 different Latin American countries, 5 Central American, 5 South American. That's true. I've made 3 world tours in my Beetle, but before I knew MMI. That was in the 50s and 60s. But I have come through all of Latin America, all the way down to Fuego, the same highway through Arequipa in 1958. The fact that the people we deal with are generally the poorer part of the population, that we as Christians have a chance to practice what the Lord asks us, to help the needy. Right? So that to me is ongoing, and I get much satisfaction from doing that. Also, the people are remarkably grateful. Well, for me, the biggest impact was the World War II and the chaotic conditions afterwards. So I learned when I was a teenager that you cannot rely on possessions or money or anything. I have seen all that destroyed in minutes. So that has left an impact on my life. I personally have very few possessions. I don't care about them, but I know that you can live a full life with relatively little. Okay? So the message for me is to use your life while you can in helping the ones who have less than you have. Okay? This is my 17th time in Peru and my 7th in Arequipa. Okay? I like it, so I come back as often as I can. I loved what I did, although I couldn't really afford it. I spent more than my income. It was only possible by living the least expense. The only way I could come that often was using what was left from the sale of my house. So, and that is used up now. So it costs me more than my monthly income to make one trip here. Right? So in total, we are talking probably, I would guess, somewhere the other side of $200,000. I'm not a pastor, but my message is to get away from the materialism that people now have, especially in North America. It is not important if you have the latest gizmo. Important is that you follow the message in the Bible. Care for your neighbor, right? Even at your own expense. I always have that little voice, you can still do it, so do it while you can, all right? It gives me satisfaction that you cannot buy. So I don't care how much it costs me. And there are very few opportunities to have hands-on experience with the people who need it, and it would be a good lesson for all young people in North America to spend a couple of weeks in these countries. I'm a little pessimistic that the coming generation has not read the Bible, and therefore they don't know what they are supposed to be doing. So my hope is that eventually they come back to that lesson and do what the good Lord asks us to do, and that is help thy neighbor. I'm not sure whether that can be done without more instructions about the content of the Bible. To me, it was no problem. I grew up like that. And like I say, I've seen all these things being lost. What is important is the human relations, not the possessions. And I'm absolutely amazed how grateful people here are. I've never been kissed that much in my life. Okay. But on the passive side, my favorite thing is in John 8:28, which is in English, but we know that all things will be working to the best for those who love God. Now, I had my share of good things and bad things, and you only find out maybe 10 years later that it was for your own good. My other favorite is the confirmation verse I had in Mark 5:36, very short. Don't fear, only believe. What can go wrong with that? I've done many things where I would be afraid, but I'm not. I know that the good Lord will guide me somehow. Okay. Okay. I just want to add, many patients here have recognized me from previous years, and I get out. This is a balsam for me. Okay, so thank you for that. Fine. My favorite Bible verses are two. One of them I received when I was confirmed. It's in Marcus 5, verse 36, which says something like, "Don't be afraid, just believe." Okay? The other one that during many years of reading the Bible stuck in my mind most is in John 8, verse 28, and it says something like, but we know that those who love God, all things, that's good and bad, will turn out to the good for them. You can read up exactly what it says. Okay. So in my life, I had a number of things that when they happened, I thought was very bad. Some person died, you lose that, you can't go there. And 10 years later, you see God's plan. It was good for you. Okay, so that's the amazing part about it. There are many others, but I don't remember them all. Okay. It's over 100 years old, made in Holland by hand. My father's father gave it to me the one time he visited us in Canada over 45 years ago. And I said to him, "I don't need that." And he said, "My boy, you will." And he was right. Here's on his initials, okay? I can't change that now. But our son in Honduras has already claimed it. So that'll be 4 generations. I have two. One is Mark 5, verse 36. And the other one is Romans 8, verse 28. Right? They both refer to believe no matter what happens to you. Right? Okay.